Affordable housing, attainable housing, workforce housing. These are all buzzwords used to describe the crisis here on the Cape, each one conjuring up different ideas of what the housing crisis actually is. Decades of NIMBYism, zoning restrictions, and overall inaction from town governments has created an environment that is uninhabitable to an ever-growing portion of the population. A crisis that has only been exacerbated by the pandemic. The Housing Assistance Corporation, after noticing an influx of non-traditional clients unable to find housing anywhere on Cape over the last few years, commissioned a report of the Cape's economy and housing market. The 94-page report, prepared by the Concord Group, offers statistical analysis and insights into what they called the Great Job Housing Mismatch on Cape Cod. An unattainable housing market has led to 50% of the Cape's workforce now having to live off Cape, adding to congestion on the canal bridges. Earlier this month, a local realtor wrote an op-ed in the Cape Cod Times entitled "The Raw Truth About Affordable Housing on Cape Cod." The author likened a community's housing inventory to available seating at a sporting event, stating, quote, "There comes a time when venues and even some communities become sold out. The Boston Red Sox play at Fenway Park, where the capacity is about 37,000. Want to take in a game? No problem. If, of course, you have a ticket. If not, stay home and watch the game on TV. Try the next game. Oh, you like the New England Patriots, or maybe your teenagers want to take in a Taylor Swift concert. Gillette Stadium holds about 65,000 fans. Got tickets? No problem. If not, stay home and watch there. Sorry, sold out. And finally, you like hockey? The Bruins play at TD Garden, where the capacity is 17,000. The capacity for the Boston Celtics is about 19,000. Same recipe. Got tickets? Yes, you come. If not, stay home and wait for next time. Buy a ticket when you can afford one or can even get one." The problem with the author's analogy is that housing, unlike a sporting or entertainment event, is a fundamental need. Consider for a moment Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The basic physiological needs for a human being are breathing, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep. I reached out to the author to see if I could get him to elaborate on his analogy, and he agreed to speak with me from his second home in Florida. Oh yeah, actually, after speaking with me, the author rescinded his agreement to comment and made sure that I knew that I no longer had his permission to say his name or use any of the comments he made in our interview. But I can assure you he didn't say anything different than in his article. I sat down this week with a local family who has resorted to reaching out to a celebrity to help their friends find housing on Cape.
He asked to borrow my computer, and I opened up a Word document for him, and he, we kind of had talked about the idea in the car on the way home about him, maybe it's a good idea to write MrBeast a letter because, MrBeast is always doing really nice things for people.
Because my friend is renting a house, and the owners decided that they want to sell the house. So one night I was just like, I have to do something about this. So I wrote a letter to him.
And we've been looking for months and months and months for housing for his friend's family. And we couldn't, we haven't come up with anything. And so we thought, what a great idea, and, really just to bring the housing crisis to the surface too. So anyway, we got home and he typed out this beautiful letter to MrBeast.
Yes.
And his sister and him drew some pictures for MrBeast too.
Yeah.
So
he did this thing where kids could send him picture for his studio wall, and we put the letter in there.
I shared the letter on Facebook
and Instagram.
And and made my profiles public, and so many people shared it, and it's gone, Cape Cod viral. And the Cape Cod Chronicle picked it up too for a story, and Nolan was on the front page of the paper this week, which was exciting. And we also a lot of people reached out asking how they could help. It might not be because they have a house available, but what other ways could they help? So we started a GoFundMe, and the reason we did that was we figured it would open up a little bit more of a pool of housing for the family and give them a little bit extra, couple $100 a month for 2 years at least. So we're hoping to find that. We're hoping to find housing for them for at least 2 years. And we've had so many generous donations from people, and it's been really amazing. what I want people to understand is that my 10-year-old son is reaching out to a famous person to try and help him find housing on Cape Cod. And that to me is just testament of the major issue that's happening here. You know, my husband and I own a business here, and my husband, you know, is a general manager for a oyster hatchery. We're middle class, and if we hadn't bought our house when we did, we wouldn't be here, and we're participating, voting citizens in our community. And I think this is just going to be, you know, one of a few several families that we're going to see have issues with this housing. And I hear desperation, so much desperation, and you know, on Facebook about people looking for housing, and constantly people are posting, you know, single mother looking for housing, teacher looking for housing, and I think this is just, you know, if anything, it brings it to the surface again. And
kind of crazy how most 10-year-olds and, like, you know, like younger kids know about the housing crisis that's going on. It's yeah.
I mean, when I was growing up, like that wasn't something that even crossed my mind as a 10-year-old.
Not at all. I didn't know if my friends rented or were buying. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you know, yeah, these kids are just learning at a young age. So I think, you know, as a community, I think it's important to vote. I think it's important to, you know, speak if you can speak and what you want out of this. But if we want more people, more working class families, and all of these businesses to stay open, really, we need to do more. And I appreciate all the people who are doing more already. So, yeah.
Do you think, as a voting citizen in Harwich here, do you think there's a disconnect between what people think affordable housing is and what is actually the issue here?
Absolutely. I think there's a stigma with affordable housing, like it's going to be, you know, there's going to be more crime and there's going to be violence and all these ideas of like poor people, but it's not the case anymore. I mean, affordable housing is helping a community stay sustainable and flourish, and that's the only way that most of these businesses are going to be able to be successful and keep their doors open. You know, you have moms, you have teachers, you have hospital workers, you have everyone that's like participating in the community that need housing and fall in that criteria. So I think there's a huge stigma behind it, and I think it's unfortunate because I think it's absolutely crucial to have more of that on the Cape, especially when there's the other side of it with like such high-end housing. You know, I think in Chatham, what the average house sale right now is $1.2 million. What's that going to do for Chatham, you know? And you have all these year-round, you know, you have businesses, summer businesses, but you have year-round businesses, and how are they going to really sustainably stay open if this isn't an option? So.
Nolan brings up a sobering point. The housing crisis has reached the point that 10-year-olds are worrying about it. Something has to change. Continuing to view the housing crisis through the lens of not in my backyard will inevitably lead to a community that won't have the essential services it needs in its backyard either. As the situation worsens, forcing the working age year-round population to leave, the wealthy retiree population, which contributes minimally to the year-round economy, will grow, requiring them to either leave as well or live in a community that can't take care of them as they age. To learn more about the Concord Report and ways that you can help, go to housingtoprotectcapecod.org.